Anchor Bay Entertainment releases their second, as far as I know, film by actor, director, writer Dean Dempsey. This is Dead Man's Barstool from 2018. This is part of their on-disc covered line, which is films that are new to video. It is a Blu-ray, runs 75 minutes, directed by, as I said, Dean Dempsey, with Jasmine, Poulton, Victoria Beltran, and Becca Blackwell. To my eye, no faces I recognized, but for me, between this and the other Dean Dempsey film that I watched to review recently, Candy Apple, this has a bit of a stronger cast going on in it. More professional actors, maybe. It is presented in English 5.1, English stereo with English or Spanish subtitles. And the basic story goes a little something like this. We have a faith healer slash evangelist who's popular and wealthy and all that, very homophobic, very straight ahead. This is what you should do. These people are going to hell and blah blah blah. It turns out he's not squeaky clean, shockingly, and he is offed by somebody. And a lot of this film is a detective in the form of Dean Dempsey trying to figure out who did it, and maybe trying to get a little taste of the money that was also stolen from the televangelist in his home. So you get a various kooky cast of characters, all from all walks of life, but most of those walks of life tend to be the seedier side of New York City, basically. So you've got drag queens. I don't know if they're really drag queens, but you've got all kinds of characters. You've got prostitutes. You've got barflies. You've got every bit of the spectrum of people, mostly in the low life category for this, who might have wanted this person dead, who might have been convinced to be paid to make this person dead, and ain't nobody telling who did it. So this cop has to figure it out. So it was somewhat of a drama, but mostly light, much lighter in tone than a drama. The performances ranged from very natural and decent to grating on me. There is a very flamboyantly gay character who I thought was just not way too over the top. Think the character that was portrayed by, I can't think of his Chris. I can't think of his last name because I'm dumb. I want to say Chris Rock, but it's not Chris Rock. You know who it is. The very wild character, Chris Tucker. The character that was portrayed by Chris Tucker in Fifth Element, which to me made me not like Fifth Element because he was just too shrill. There's a character that verges on that, which I was just like, okay. So some characters are annoyingly unfunny. Some are fine. It just kind of is all over the place. It's definitely an ensemble piece that really has that New York underground misfit street person vibe that was very similar to the vibe of the same director's Candy Apple that I reviewed separately, also available on Blu-ray from Anchor Bay. So the bonus is you have here a trailer for the film. You also have something called the Plank Podcast with Dean Dempsey. This is a podcast I was not aware of until I saw this extra. It is a video podcast. A lot of podcasts do that now, where they are essentially they do a video interview show that's on YouTube or streaming somewhere, and then they just strip that audio and put it as an audio-only podcast as well. And most of them work pretty much just fine either way. This is a video version of that podcast with two hosts that I found sort of annoying. I did have to skip the first 7 minutes, I guess, of this thing because it was them just casually talking about whatever. And that is a personal pet peeve I have with podcasts. If a podcast is the Brown Shoe Podcast and you're talking about what you had for dinner last night and that maybe you're going to go out later and that you saw this movie, I'm like, can we get to the brown shoes? So that's kind of how I felt. I fast forwarded a bit until they got to the Dean Dempsey interview, which was interesting. And it was interesting to know his methodology, his motivations, a little bit of his history and the inside. He talks about both films too. So if you have, like me, had previously seen Candy Apple, he gets into that quite a bit and also talks about Dead Man's Barstool. So it's a nice release. It looks good. It was a decently shot film for what was certainly a very low budget. I think he does mention the budget somewhere in that interview. And your mileage may vary. Again, not my style, really. The ensemble piece of the New York City fringe dwellers is not something I naturally am gravitating to. So I'm just basically trying to tell you what it is as opposed to what I thought of it. So it is a nice release. And again, I'm glad that Anchor Bay is able to put out stuff like this that you normally would have a harder time finding on physical media. And also that that filmmakers like Dean Dempsey can get, multiples of their films given really nice releases. So available on Blu-ray from Arrow Video. Arrow Video, Anchor Bay Entertainment is, if I said Arrow Video at any point in this review, I meant Anchor Bay. Dead Man's Barstool.